There was a time in my life not too long ago when I was pre-diabetic, extremely unhealthy, and feeling low energy all the time. I have to say, it's much more exciting knowing how to use food to live vibrantly, happy, and healthy every day. My name is Adam Hart, and I want to welcome you to the Power of Food. Hey everybody, welcome. Adam Hart, best-selling author of The Power of Food. I want to welcome you to the Power of Food Cooking Show, and I'm really excited that you're here today. Today is a very important episode because we're really going to focus in on what I have been feeding myself for the past probably about 15 years or so, and happens to also be the number one nutritional food that I consider to be on the planet. I want to introduce that to you today on today's episode. Plus, it's also the number one food I feed my kids as their main source of protein. Now, most of you who know who I am, are familiar with the Power of Food and all my work, you know what this one food is, but many of you don't. And it's really important that I share that with you because it's one of those foods that transformed my life. And really the idea of where I'm coming from based on being extremely unhealthy at one point, I didn't realize I had a choice. I didn't realize I had a choice to feel better and feel vibrantly happy and healthy every single day. And the reality is we do have that choice. Now, I'm going to be sharing quite a bit with you in all of these episodes that you get a chance to watch. But the number one rule with this is that we not change anything in our diet. Now, I'm going to share with you, again, lots of tips, lots of tools, secrets, but I want to make that one really clean and clear. As I share what I share, I want to make you aware that I don't want you to change anything in your diet. Everything that I'm sharing with you through the Power of Food Cooking Show is what can I add in that's going to help me feel more vibrant, more happy, more alive. So I'm going to share that with you a little bit more as we keep going. Today, we are going to focus on that number one nutritional food on the planet, the healthiest thing that I eat and that I feed my family, and that's this guy right here. I don't know if you catch a glimpse of that. Anybody know what that is? Yes, you do. That's another package of it right there. It's hemp seeds. So hemp seeds for me are the number one protein source that I eat. It's a complete protein, contains all the essential fatty acids, the ideal ratio of the omega-3 to omega-6 fatty acids. So it's a really great, powerful nutrition house that all you have to do is add it to whatever you eat. So I'm going to start off by showing you how to prepare your own milk. Now I know that many of us, we grow up eating a lot of dairy. That's kind of the number one thing that we consume if we're going to get what? Calcium. That's a big one that I ask my audiences all the time. What's your main source for calcium? It's lots of times it's cheese, it's dairy, in the form of yogurt, maybe even milk. And I grew up 2% milk. That was my main thing. Didn't realize until years later that it was having a pretty detrimental impact on my health. Now, I'm not suggesting, and I'm never going to be that guy that's going to tell you what you should or shouldn't eat. But as I connected more and more to how I was feeling, I realized that I did have a choice, and dairy wasn't making me feel all that great. So I started to discover alternative sources. And I would say about 8 years ago or so, I stumbled upon an idea of just throwing in some nuts or seeds into, that's a Vitamix there, and just turning it on with some water, and next thing I knew, I was creating my own milks. And when I discovered hemp seeds as my number one nutritional food, I was kind of surprised when I threw it in a blender and it actually blended up just like milk. Froths up, you can actually use it for cappuccino. So we're going to go ahead and make that right now. Now, all these recipes are right out of the Power of Food book for you guys. Now, I don't like to follow recipes myself. In the book, they are all based on measurements, but what I'm going to do here today and in every episode that you guys see of this is I'm just going to be throwing a lot of stuff in there based off of what the recipe is inside the Power of Food book. All right? Hopefully you guys are okay with that. So what's the number one thing that we're going to put in there? Well, obviously we're going to throw in some hemp seeds. So I love to just tell everybody that I get a chance to share this with is to just throw a quarter cup of hemp. Quarter cup of hemp in there. And then 3 cups of water. Now here's a really great tip. Now it doesn't have to be just water. If you want, you can throw in a fresh juice that you've made yourself. I love to actually use tea. And this tea actually happens to be another company here. This is called Harmonic Arts. And the reason why I'm sharing companies like this one here, Planet Hemp, brand new hemp company on the market, actually hasn't even been released yet. This guy here, Harmonic Arts, it's because they're companies that I have researched over the years and have found to be some of the most ethical companies available. So I highly recommend if you want to get some tea, local for sure, but if not, this is actually out of Cumberland, Harmonic Arts. You can check them out online. This is actually called the Lung Love, and that's what I made this out of. It's just a really nice lung boosting tonic, and I'm going to throw that as my base for my hemp milk. And again, you don't have to do this. You could just throw it in as water, but I prefer to add in a little extra boost. So there's three cups of that. Put that down there for later. Okay, so that's all we have in there. We have our hemp seeds and we have our liquid. I'm going to put that in the Vitamix. Okay, beauty. That's it. So what did that take? That took probably less than 2 minutes to prepare. So I'm just going to pour a little bit in there because I'm actually going to take this and turn it into something even more powerful in a minute. So there's hemp milk. Man, it's fantastic. I use that as the base of all my cereals that I eat or my kids eat. If I'm making soups, I'll use that as the base of all my soups. If I'm baking something that requires liquid, that's your base. Amazing, amazing protein source. And I'll read you just really quick what the nutritional components of the hemp seeds are. So for 3 tablespoons, the 3 tablespoons, you're getting 110% of your manganese, you're 30% of your zinc, 70% of magnesium, 40% of phosphorus, 15% of folate. You get some powerful B vitamins, 30% of your iron, plus you're getting about 10 grams of complete protein. So I can't say enough about hemp. That's my #1 source for my protein, and it really acts like a multivitamin for me and has been helping me stabilize my blood sugar for 15 years now. Okay, so let's just now up the ante here. Like I mentioned, you can use that hemp milk for anything that you have liquid based and maybe to move away from so much of the dairy and add some of this in instead. But now let's turn that into a power smoothie. Now you want to wake up, you want to feel vibrantly energized, you want to be able to run out of your house, maybe with a liquid that big that's going to nourish you until mid-afternoon. That's what we're going to prepare here. And so what I want to do is I want to add in some more green because there's no green in there yet, but I'm a big fan of green. Green is extremely alkalining, so why not add some green in there? Now normally I'll add in a little bit of a powder. This one here is really great. It's a super greens mix, but I'm not going to add that in right now. What I'm going to do is just throw a little bit of broccoli in there. You might be thinking, well, broccoli in my morning smoothie. Well, why not? You know, it's a super powerful nutrition plant, obviously vegetable, but tons of nutritional value, calcium and great protein source, great fiber. I'm throwing in some basil because I love the taste of basil. Now this is not for my kids, this is one that I make for myself. Now if you want to make one for kids, you know, you don't have to put in the basil, you don't have to put in the broccoli, but you don't even taste the broccoli. What you could do instead is just throw in a handful of spinach. That's a great way to boost nutritional power in your smoothie, lots of protein again in spinach, and that's frozen strawberries. Just throw in a bunch of frozen strawberries. And if you want it even sweeter, I'll throw in some dates sometimes. I'll chop them up just to make sure there's no pits in there. That's it. Throw those in for extra sweetness. Turn it on. Now again, you could throw in other fruits if you want. If you want to put in a banana in there. Beauty. Now you can blend it more if you want, but that's essentially an extremely powerful smoothie to start your day. And what I'll do is I'll actually put this into a container and take it with me. So I'll make a liter like that, and that's what I'll take on with me on the road whenever I'm doing a speaking engagement or working with clients. That's what I'm going to nourish myself, is this guy right here. And just amazing, amazing stuff. So when I mentioned the idea of making your own hemp milk, you can make a liter of milk like this, cost you less than $1. So you're saving quite a bit of money, plus you're getting a lot of those extra nutrients into your diet that you're not getting from a lot of what we're normally doing, especially in the morning routine. Breakfast is so important. If you don't fuel yourself right, you're going to have those mid-afternoon crashes all day, every day. That's what we want to avoid. We want to boost up the protein, the essential fatty acids, so that it helps to streamline the carbohydrate crashes that we're getting from our cereals, bagels, breads, you name it. The #1 thing that we're craving are, unfortunately, those types of sugars. So there's your unbelievable power smoothie for the mornings. Take it with you on the road. You know, you got yourself a great lunch, afternoon lunch. It's going to nourish you, and that's what the power of food is all about. Nourishment in a way where you wake up feeling abundantly happy and healthy every single day. So I hope you like that, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.